Alright, so let's go right into chart. We're going to be trading the New York session. Today, we're going to go over very quick the trades that we ended up taking yesterday. As you guys saw the full breakdown, we end up hitting final take profits with US30. So US30, we got stopped at a break even right after we secured a good 101. And then price action came back towards the same exact areas of interest, gave us the same exact rejection. So why not enter the same exact position, right? So we managed to enter the same exact position. We managed to secure over a 103 risk to reward, which was a very nice trade, over 300 points, which ended up hitting our final take profit this morning. So yesterday we kind of entered a little bit later, already after the New York session. So pretty much we entered during the noon session. Price action was kind of consolidating around the areas of interest, but then we had the push that we were anticipating, and then we simply just broke above these other areas of interest that I mentioned to you guys earlier from yesterday breakdown, which was around 44,050, which is simply above these London highs over here, which, as you guys can see, that price action did break above during these exact London session, came back towards these levels. We did see that price action did kind of build up these solid foundations over here, which we did see a very nice push towards the upside. So this was a very nice trade, end up hitting over 3%. Over here we end up hitting over 3%. So as of right now, we're going to obviously do a renew analysis with US30. We're going to see exactly what we can catch for today. US30 has been aggressively bullish the past couple of times, so we might be tapping into some key levels over here where we can probably see some type of reversal. Now obviously we cannot make up the market. We have to be trading with the exact trend that the market is doing. So we have simply broken above all of these exact daily highs over here. Now we got to go to the daily, pretty much look at these type structures over here where it can be valid, levels of interest where price action can either have those type of reactions from. So as of right now, let's just let US30 continue this push. We're about to go to the 11 a.m., which will be the afternoon session. So around this time, the market kind of slowed down. So this is exactly where we want to look for these levels, make sure that price action can fully tap towards these areas of interest before we take any position. Moving forward with gold, our buy position from yesterday played out very, very nice. We ended up hitting over a 103 risk to reward. So this was later on after the session that I ended yesterday, the live session, right? I explained to you guys the exact areas of interest, which was simply trading above these broken structure, right? We had the rejection towards these exact demand zones over here from a major time frame, which will be considered as the weekly highs, right? Notice how we swept out of these lows over here, perfectly broke above, came back, retested these areas, perfectly maintained itself above. Right now, obviously we were kind of ranging earlier yesterday during the New York session, so that's exactly why I did not manage to re-enter the same exact position. But what happened over here? Notice exactly we got the breakout of one of the ranges, right? And then we also broke above these other previous highs over here, which, as you guys can see, that price action perfectly pulled back into, build a very nice demand zones right over here, which obviously gave us a very nice opportunity to take these buys. We ended up taking these buys, played out for 103. We had a sell position open. Remember the sell position that I explained to you guys yesterday. We did end up hitting over TP2, which is 40 pips, but then price action comes back to activate our other limit, which unfortunately hit stop loss. So this was a stop loss hit. Now, as of today, we're going to be looking obviously for a new trading session. So all of this is old markup. So we're going to delete all of this, and we're going to focus on what we can potentially catch for today. So let me just delete all of this stuff here, guys. Starting off the bat, we're going to be looking at the daily time frame. So obviously we understand that price action from last week, right? We were coming from a bearish market, right? We kind of had to shift the market from this side over here, which was early May, late May. We were obviously creating higher highs and higher lows. Price action has broken underneath all of these structures. Notice how we started creating these lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, and low. Once we formed this new lower low over here, which was simply coming off from these exact demand zones over here. So we're going to put this as our daily. This can also be considered as the weekly lows, right? Yes, we're going to put this as weekly lows. So our weekly lows, we understand that price action has tapped towards these exact demand zone, right? Now notice on the left side how we had the same similar push, a rejection towards these levels, a very nice aggressive push towards these upside, an aggressive toward these levels, and a very nice aggressive push towards these upside. right? Now, notice how gold over here, we are breaking above all of these exact daily highs over here, which can mean obviously two things. Either one, we are simply grabbing liquidity towards all of these levels over here, which means that we have to go more down towards a lower time frame to find the same exact levels which price action is having a reaction from. Obviously, it has to be a valid zone. And once that we see that price action is having a reaction from, then we obviously see what type of price action is being formed. If we notice that bearish price action is being formed, then we simply look for sales today. But if price action just trading above these ranges over here, let's say the price action is kind of ranging above these areas of interest, then this is pretty much where we kind of step out of the market and just wait for the market to do its things, right? Now, since like I told you guys yesterday, overall with gold, we're still completely bullish. How we still maintain itself above these weekly lows over here. If these weekly lows doesn't get broken underneath, then we're still bullish, right? Obviously, we might see some short-term bullish, but overall, the market conditions still continue. Oh, my bad. We might see some type of bearish market, right? But if the weekly time frame, if we notice on the weekly structure, right? If we don't break underneath these exact weekly structures over here, then overall, gold is still continuation bullish, right? There's still very strong bullish momentum going on in the market. We might have a short-term seller, short-term buyer, but overall the market condition is very bullish, right? So that's just something to keep in mind. So we did have the rejection towards these levels, right? Very easy, simple levels. Notice these exact zones. It was once in areas of resistance. We did form a demand zones over here. Price action did respect this exact demand, had to push towards these upside. Once again, price action has pulled back towards this level early this week, and we had the same exact rejection. So simple. We're going to put this gray. We're going to just have this marked up. And then we're going to go back here on the weekly time frame, and we're going to be looking for a specific zones. So weekly time frame, we did see that obviously this candle over here, we had a break, simply broke above these exact areas of highs. We did come back, retest it, kind of saw like price action rejecting it, but notice last week we did see a very strong bearish candle breaking underneath these highs over here. So this is just something to keep in mind. I'm going to have these highs marked up as the 3350. So this is technically going to be considered as our daily high as of today. This is exactly at the 33. Let's put 55. 33.55. All right. So we go back to the weekly. We're simply still trading underneath these exact weekly structure, which is these exact weekly highs. All right, cool. Daily time frame. Let's look exactly some levels that daily has broken above. For example, this one broke above. We can say, yeah, 33.10 looks solid. All right, so coming back here, we understand that we're still trading underneath these exact weekly highs. So dropping towards the 4-hour time frame, notice how we are already kind of seeing this exact bearish momentum, right? Which is something that we're waiting for. Obviously, we had a very strong bullish push. This is exactly where buyers are now taking the profits. Sellers are potentially can enter the markets, right? So if we take a look at this at the 4-hour structures, right? We did have a 4-hour broken structure, which is going to be simply around these exact zones. Around the 33.12 can be the areas, right? 33.12. And then notice exactly how I was anticipating the overall analysis from yesterday was pretty much to do the same exact pattern that price action did over here, right? Break, create this new low, lower high, break underneath these other previous lows, create these new lows here, pulls back, create these lower highs, right? So yesterday we were anticipating the same exact move as soon as we end up breaking underneath this exact 4-hour structure, right? But notice how yesterday, obviously the bullish structure was kind of still holding bullish after this rejection towards these demands. So we obviously did see that price action had fully broken above these levels over here. Now, obviously, if we take a look at the 4-hour structure, if you guys continue going a little bit deeper to this type of price action, right? Notice how right now, currently price action is retesting these other 4-hour broken structure, right? Which aligns perfectly with the weekly highs. You go back to the 4-hour time frame, you guys can also see how in the previous price action, we did see at one point, every time the price taps in towards this level, we are seeing a type of reaction from, right? So we did see that price action at one point they see bearish action, bearish action, bearish action. We also had another bearish action. We broke above, we kind of did build a solid bullish foundation, broke back underneath. Same exact thing over here. We did kind of build up a solid foundation, bullish foundation, broke above, broke underneath here, and then obviously we are now retesting these zones. So it's just simply going along with the trend, simply going along with the patterns. We are seeing these type of rejection. So let's see what we can potentially catch today. I'm more interested in taking a sell position, to be honest, this morning with gold. So last night we did have a sell limit that did end up hitting stop loss with gold. So we might be entering the same exact position. Now, the reason why I'm going to be entering this same exact position, first thing first, we are coming towards these weekly highs. We are seeing these weekly rejection towards these highs over here. So that's just something to keep in mind. We take a look at the 4-hour time frame. The 4-hour time frame has tapped towards these zones. The new 4-hour structure has obviously rejected it, and we're already seeing a bearish action. So that means that we have to drop down towards a lower time frame, and we have to look for these levels where we're going to be interested in selling the market. We're not just going to sell the market right away. Gap over here. This will be a nice bearish fair value gap that we are kind of rejecting off. We do have this going down to the 5. We do have a solid 5-minute break of structure, which is simply going to be right over here. Cool. So we're kind of seeing already the movements that we want. So we are retesting these levels. We have the break. We have a rejection towards our main areas of interest, which is 33.54. We have the break of structure here on the lower time frame. So notice again here, we were simply creating these highs, higher lows, higher highs, broke underneath these exact higher lows, pulled back, forms a new lower high, retested all of these bearish fair value gap. Notice how price action is perfectly trading underneath, right? So already kind of seeing bearish action going on in the markets. So that's just something to keep in mind. So what I'm going to be doing here at this point, where price action is exactly where I want it to be. We are now retesting my areas of interest. So at this point over here, I'm going to be setting up a sell stop right over here at 33.43. So entry is going to be somewhere between these levels over here. So this is exactly what I'm going to be doing with gold. We're going to be entering these exact sell stop right now. So let me just send this down the group chat. So let's see how this one activates. So our activation is at 33.43.60. Stop loss is at 33.53.60. Cool. And then our TP, take profit level, we're going to be, let me just send this out very quick, guys, because I got to send this in the free Telegram as well. Our final TP is going to be set right above, right exactly at these highs. What is these? 1 hour structure. Yeah, this is definitely our final take profit level. So very quick, guys, the analysis, right? So 4 hour, we got a very strong pullback towards this exact broken structure here on the 4 hour time frame, which at one point over here price action did use it as an area of resistance. We did see the same exact sell-off, right? Now in today's market, right, notice how we took above these highs over here, grabbed liquidity towards all of these left side over here, tapping in towards a supply zone. If we go into the weekly time frame, notice how the weekly time frame, we are perfectly retesting this exact weekly structure, which obviously price action on the previous week we have broken underneath. So simply this week we had the recovery to then tap towards these exact areas of interest where we might see, obviously these potential sell-off, right? Now we go here on the 4 hour time frame. We're simply tapping towards these exact zones. We took above these highs over here. We were obviously aggressively bullish. We have broken above these other 4 hour structures. So obviously the idea for this exact play, obviously we cannot make up the markets, but this is the overall idea. Overall, we are tapping towards these zones. We are looking for the sell-off to then tap towards our areas of interest, which is between these levels over here, 33.20, 33.10, to then continue the market pushing even higher, right? So obviously retest all of these broken structure, which price action might obviously, consider, are we still bullish, or are we still going to be trading with the 4 hour structure trend, which is kind of bearish, right? So we go drop down towards a lower time frame. Obviously we were ranging between these two zones over here. We have our minor support, which was our New York highs, which is going to be the New York lows, which is going to be set around the 33.45. We also have the New York highs over here, which is the 33.55, which we simply tap towards these exact areas of supply zones, right? Still trading underneath the exact 4 hour structure, right? Notice how we go down towards a 5-minute time frame. We obviously have broken underneath all of these structures over here, simply creating higher lows. Price action has broken underneath, created these new lows, pull back, retested this fair value gap, created a new lower high. Already seeing price action seeing some kind of bearish action. We broke underneath these levels, right? Very simple. We broke underneath these minor 5-minute time frame support. Price action came back, retested it, rejected it, and perfectly closed underneath these exact lows, which is exactly where we want to enter the market. So at this point over here, we are active in the trade. We're just going to let the market do its thing now. Hopefully we get the anticipation push that we are waiting for underneath. So let's see, we have a nice 30-minute kind of closure from the previous one underneath this exact fair value gap. I love this trade. This trade looks very clean to me. We should definitely see a push. So let's see how the market plays out. It is 11 a.m. Hopefully we start seeing some nice movement with gold here. So looking at US30 here off the bat, looking at it from a daily time frame perspective, right? So yesterday we understand that we were basically trading around this exact supply here, which obviously was invalidated. So we did not see any sell-off from yesterday whatsoever, right? We did see that price session kind of broke above these highs over here, which we simply retested it, which obviously we built up that exact solid support foundation, which is exactly where price action started pushing higher, right? So we basically bought the market exactly at these zones over here. Notice how one point these zones over here was areas of support, which we did see the same exact bounce play. So one bounce here, another bounce here. Price action later on in the future obviously broke underneath these levels, came back, retested it, formed exactly a resistance zones, which obviously we did see a sell-off, right? So if we take a look at yesterday market, price action has broken above these levels, retested this level, and formed another support on foundations over here, which obviously we continue seeing the market pushing even higher. So obviously we're still very much bullish here with US30. We're looking at it from a weekly structure. Yesterday I also explained in the weekly time frame, looking for the levels where we might see price action have a pullback towards, right, which was simply above these highs over here. But obviously the aggressive push just continues pushing even higher, right? So with US30, it looks like we might be tapping towards these all-time highs, which is where I would like to see a type of reaction from. So US30, we're coming towards these highs over here. Or let's make sure we're doing this correctly. Let's make sure these zones over here are valid first, because I wouldn't be surprised if we actually tap towards these highs over here. Now the question will be, what will price action do whenever we are above these highs over here? Like what would price action do whenever we are pretty much tapping towards these zones? This is zones that we kind of did see some sell-off earlier, but are these zones really valid, or we're going to see the same exact play? All right, so we have this marked up over here, which is these 1 hour broken structure, which was previous highs. US30 is currently tapping. I want to see exactly where we are kind of rejecting off from. Pretty sure it's going to be these levels over here. Okay. So let's see what exactly these levels are in the 1 hour time frame. Where exactly are we tapping into? The levels over here looks very choppy. We're like trading inside in the middle of a ranges over here, which there's no clean price action here, and there's no clean, like, you know, a reaction from. So this is 47. Now you guys see this over here when I mean that it is not clean. Usually whenever I look for zones, right, the zone has to look something like this. There's a clean tap, and then obviously clean price action, or something like this, a clean tap and a clean bullish price action. These are the type of zones that I look for. But if we're looking at market action right now, we're tapping towards these levels, but notice how the zones over here is kind of, you know, pretty messy over here. So this is not really good price action to a zone. Notice how, yes, probably here in the past we did see some type of bearish action, right? We did see some type of bearish action. Notice how it's kind of doing this right now over here. We're just pretty much trading, breaking, trading, breaking, trading, breaking. So kind of like in a range, no clear direction, no clear retested towards these zones, which obviously make these areas over here very, I would say, very sketchy, very cautious for us to trade. I understand that obviously we are very bullish. We obviously have broken above these structures over here, but our main goal is to really focus on what price action is doing as of right now. So let's say that we are seeing the rejection towards these highs. All right, cool. Let's see, we are simply on the 5-minute time frame. What we would like to see here. This is the 9:30 candle was right over here. We got the retest. We have these. All right, so this will be the game plan for today with US30. So we're tapping toward a major zone. Very choppy, so this trade over here might be high risk. So we're tapping towards a major zone 44,470, which obviously we did see a type of bearish reaction from. we are now retesting above these highs over here, which obviously price action has broken above from. We're currently trading above these levels over here. So the idea for today with US30, if we do see a break underneath these lows over here and a retest and price action does trade underneath, then we're taking a sell position. Now, if price action breaks above or respect these levels and break above these highs over here, then we're going to be taking a buy position. So we're just going to be trading off a lower time frame perspective on a 1 minute, 5 minute time frame. So we're basically going to be scalping the market here. I obviously would like that full pullback towards these exact levels where I would like to see price action retest. This will be the idea of this exact setup. But US30 sometimes continues a bullish move quickly. So let's see. Let's be patient and wait for that same exact setup to come from. So we're just simply going to... Now let's take a look at gold. Let's see what gold is doing. Oh shit, look at this. So let's see, we already got the drop that we wanted. We're probably already hit some take profit level. So we have 33.41, which is TP1. Yeah, so take profit 1 already hit. So let's put TP1 hit. So we hit TP1 and we also hit TP2 with gold. So we're like at 40 pips already. So that's good. So at this point here, what we would like to wait for is obviously the bearish, short-term bearish volume to kick in. What I do not like right now is how price action is just respecting above all of these London lows over here. Notice how it is an area of minor demand, which obviously we are seeing a sweep off these lows over here, a sweep off previous London lows, which is kind of a turnoff, right? Due to the fact that we're still overall kind of bullish over here in this momentum. So we might be, grabbing liquidity towards these lows over here so that we can potentially push the market even higher. The 30-minute does not look kind of turn off, not gonna lie. That's a very strong 5-minute rejection. Very strong 15-minute rejection. So this is... Look at that. That is pretty nasty, not gonna lie. If we break above these highs over here, then we're gonna lose this trade. But if we break underneath these lows, we're gonna win this trade. Let's take a look at US30. What is US30 doing? Fucking, look at that. We missed our fucking entry. But you know what? This is actually a good confirmation because we broke above it, retested it, and we actually closed above. So we're gonna be taking a buy position here with US30. Buy position here with US30 very soon. So we're going to enter the market right now. So we just took a buy position here with US30. Oh shit, look at that. It's just fucking ripped off. So fucking fast. Damn. So we just took a buy and it just fucking took off. Damn, look at US30. It's just pushing higher. That's beautiful. All right, cool. So 44.20. 44.320 our stop loss, and then our TP level is always going to be at a 1 and 3. So let's put our take entry 44.20. Completely different price ranges from TradingView and my broker. So 44.20 is our entry, and then our stop loss. Stop loss is 44.320. It means that our TP is going to be set at a 1 and 3 risk to reward. So what do you guys think? We're going to smash this take profit too. 44.720 is our final take profit. And then TP1, 44.520. And then 44.620, our take profit too. Yo, that was a beautiful entry on US30 buys. That was very beautiful. Like, we simply waited for the rejection of these highs and the inverse of these gap over here. Notice how we inverse these gap over here, broke above it, retested this gap, closed above it, and then we got a perfect entry. As soon as we enter, we got the rip towards the upside, so we're kind of getting that push that we want. We're about to hit take profit 1, and there we go. We just hit TP1 with US30. So US30 hit take profit 1. Let's call this out. So take profit 1 just hit for 600 points. So let's call this out. All right, cool. So we just hit that first take profit. Now we have the second one, which is going to be set at the 44,520, which that would be our full 101 risk to reward, which is what we want. So look at this. We're having a nice push here with US30. Let's take a look at NAS. NAS 100. So we did kind of see a very strong drop with NAS. But again, look at this. We're looking at it from a 1 hour perspective. We're tapping towards these 1 hour demands over here, which is Fridays. We have these Friday lows over here, which price action picked up the bullish volume. So that is interesting, cool as well. We respected those lows. The SPX, where I don't trade this one. But look at these. Just pretty much compare both of them. Notice how they're doing the same exact thing. We have NAS that respected these lows. We have the SPX, which are respecting these lows over here. And overall, if you look at it from a higher time frame perspective, we're still trading above all of these structure, which continue holding the bullish volume, which is good for us. The NAS 100 is respecting these lows over here, which is also good for us. So we might be getting that full push that we want. With, look at that. Look at US30. It's just flying. So we're about to hit final, and there we go. Final TP2 just hit with US30 100 points. That was a beautiful trade. Damn, that was just straight rocket towards our take profit. This was a fucking trade right here. Look at that. So take profit 2 just hit with US30 100 points. Beautiful. That's what I'm fucking talking about. You see that, guys? Perfectly executed, perfectly waited for our entry confirmation. Boom, just let the market do the thing now. We have gold. Gold is dropping very nice as well. Yo, these New York session past couple of days has been amazing. Look at gold. We're back towards these levels. We're back at TP2. We break underneath these lows over here, we can definitely see take profit 3 get hit. So I'm gonna set up an alarm at take profit 3, which will be 3337.60. All right, cool. So we're gonna create this. And now, let's just let the market do its thing. Let's see what happens. We'll be stepping out for now and just letting the trade do its thing. All right, so we're back from the break. I'm going to give you guys the update on the setups that we end up taking today. So starting off first with the first trade that we took, which was gold position, right? So we entered some sells. We end up hitting take profit 3 for 60 pips. Our rules is always to go break even at take profit 3. So we got pretty much everything that we were looking for, right? We obviously see the rejection towards the major zones. We did see the change of character, which is simply breaking underneath all of these previous higher lows, which price action came back, retested these fair value gap, which perfectly rejected, maintained itself under. We broke underneath these other areas of support, which price action perfectly broke under, retested it, rejected it, maintained itself under. That's exactly where we enter the markets, right? Now, earlier today as well, whenever we end up hitting take profit 2, I explained to you guys these exact levels where I'm telling you guys, hey, this is a good demand zone where we can probably see price action start having a bounce from, right? Especially right after having this entire push towards these upside, showing us that obviously in the intraday time frame, we're still in a bullish market, right? Now, just because price action is, pretty much tapping towards these exact demand support zones over here, and we are seeing these many type of bounces towards the upside, doesn't really necessarily mean that the market is ready to start rocket to the upside, right? So that's exactly why I was never really interested in taking a buy position. Now, we got stopped at a break even after the third time that price action came towards these levels. This is exactly where I told my team, hey, I'm going to be monitoring price around these exact levels. If we do see that price reject, maintain itself under, I'm going to take the sell again. Or if price action starts breaking above these highs over here, this is simply where we react and adapt, right? Now, what I mean by react and adapt, very simple. Entire structure is bullish. Rejection towards these demand. Price action start having a shift to structure, breaking above all of these previous lower high. We simply wait for the retest from bullish price action to start forming for us to enter a buy position, right? So that will simply be the react and adapt. But in this case, notice how price action, take us out of break even, rejected it, and then immediately dropped towards the downside, right? For me, there was no clean, proper entry confirmation to re-enter the market. I was taking a look at the 1 minute time frame. I did see this exact 1 minute break of structure, which price action broke underneath, came back, retested it, but I did not like how price action was just, basically trading around these ranges over here, which obviously it was not a high quality setup, a high quality re-entry, even though it did kind of drop towards the downside as we anticipated. But the entry signal was really never there, so we never end up taking these positions, right? So gold, we end up hitting take profit 3, stopped at a break even, which is cool. Now, at this point over here, what I'm simply going to be waiting for is to see how price action reacts around these lows over here, which we are currently retesting it, right? So the idea will be very simple. For us to re-enter the market, what I'm going to be waiting for, the same exact thing that happened here. We're going to be waiting for price action to break underneath these lows, pull back, retest these lows, and then break underneath a previous low wick candle, right? The previous low wick candle. If we pretty much find something like this, then I'm going to be interested in taking the sell position all over again. But this was the gold setup. Very solid, but did not play out the way that we really wanted. So 60 pips, it is what it is. We're moving forward with US30. US30, we caught a very nice push towards the upside. Very nice trade. I explained to you guys exactly what I was looking for, right? The retest of these highs over here. The inverse of above these fair value gaps over here. Simply broke above, got the retest. That's exactly where we entered the market. Got the nice push towards the upside, which played out for 100 points. Price action reverses, take us out of break even. We managed to re-enter the same exact position one more time, which again, we did end up hitting take profit 2 for 100 points. So as of right now, the only position that I'm currently in right now, it is US30, which I'm currently up over $300 in this position. So we're going to continue holding this. I have my stop loss placed as break even. The goal here is to see if we obviously hit our final take profit, which is set around the 44,720. It will be another 1 of 3, the same exact trade that we caught yesterday. So let's see how this setup plays out. All of that being said, guys, that is pretty much it for today's session. It is 1:50, so obviously the market is already coming to the end. So we're pretty much done. I'm going to continue my day. Hope you guys enjoy the entire live trading session, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.